right. Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
And welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. My name is Mother Banjo, one of your hosts.
My name is Anthony Ihrig, the other host.
And today we have joining us from New Orleans, down the river from us, Joy Clark. And folks are excited for the show. I know I am. And Joni was really excited. I cannot wait. Happy Valentine's Back Catalog Listening Party crew. Well,
Back
happy
at you, Joni.
belated Valentine's to you, Joni. Chris, excited, says that he's excited for the show. Time for a cold one. I'm with you, Chris. It's been a week. So I have some of Minnesota's, from Stillwater, Minnesota, a lift bridge fireside flannel brown ale. So that's what I'm
Ooh.
enjoying on my happy hour. And let's see, Connie from Richfield, Matt Winters from Urbana, checking in for the first time in a long time. Yes, welcome back.
Matthew.
Has been traveling. And Joe from South Minneapolis, and Gary. And then we have Stephanie joining us from Kansas. Hello, Stephanie, and welcome to the show. And if you're new to this show, this is the show where we invite different guest artists to revisit old records with us. And we're excited to have Joy joining us. And Joy, I know you had some snacks all ready to go when we were checking in before he came on here. What are you enjoying on your Friday afternoon?
I've got a wonderful Waterloo.
Love Waterloo. Yeah.
I'm trying to get my sponsorship because I go to Costco enough and I have enough of them. It's the grape kind. Is it grape?
Nice.
Oh no, sorry, black cherry.
Mm.
And I've got some cashews from
Oh.
Costco.
Nice. You should get a sponsorship from
on, Costco.
Waterloo and Costco.
That's
There you
right.
go. Awesome. And Tony, what are you enjoying?
I'm staying local too. I'm just going across the river to St. Paul to the Summit Brewery with their Great Northern Porter.
Ooh, that's
a
a good
nice
one.
kind of cold weather brew. And like Ellen said, this is a happy hour, a listening party happy hour. So if you're out there having a beverage or a snack, let us know what you're having. Feel free to jump into the comments during that throughout the episode to ask questions for Joy or comment on the music. We want to hear from you.
Yes, indeed. And I am so excited to have Joy Clark joining us. And we were saying right before we came on the air that we were just at the Folk Alliance International Conference in Kansas City a few weeks back. And it was so great to get to hear Joy play some of these songs live that I've been enjoying so long on recordings. But I can't wait to revisit this EP that came out in 2020 because we were saying that the last time a lot of us had seen each other was at the Folk Alliance International in 2020, which was in your hometown of New Orleans. And it feels like, so this EP came out that same year. And did it come out before or after? I guess it must have been after Folk Alliance that year, right? So before
it came out after we recorded it in 2019, actually, like at the beginning of 2019 or in the spring. And I released that in, I think, October of 2020. And I kind of had an itch because I'm a person who I'll record something and then I don't want to release it. I don't want to do that. But 2020 and the height of COVID sort of pushed me to, hey, put some music out there for people to hear. It might actually make you feel better, make you feel a little more connected. I had met so many people at Folk Alliance, and just it really motivated me to put out things that I'd been thinking about and put out my feelings and put my heart on the move and just put it out and just like put it out, flag down, and somebody's going to be helped by these songs. So
yes,
we put it out in 2020. I think October 23rd.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we are excited to revisit it today on the Back Catalog Listening Party. And again, for those of you who are new to the show, when we invite artists to come on the show, we ask them to pick albums of theirs to revisit, and they pick the tracks. Picking the tracks on this one was a little bit easier than most, though, because it's an EP. So it means that we're probably going to get to all the tracks on the EP, which is a treat for us to get to really enjoy an entirety of an album, as we will today. But before we dive into the music, I'm so itching to hear the music that I almost forgot to ask for folks who are less familiar with your music, Joy. Can you give us the brief 2 minute bio of where you grew up and how you fell into making this particular kind of music?
Oh, such a great question. No, really, really, I'm not being sarcastic. So I grew up in the New Orleans area. Grew up in like a Harvey, Louisiana, which is like a little bit outside of downtown. And I'm the youngest of five kids. Um, my parents are pastors. My dad is a pastor. So I grew up playing in church. Like I bugged my parents enough when I was a kid to get me a guitar. And when they finally got me one, then they said, well, you should bring your guitar to church and like try to figure out some of the songs because we didn't, it's not like they got me the guitar and then put me in lessons. It was just
Hmm.
you got the guitar, and so I was playing things by ear, and so slowly I started just learning songs by ear because I was obsessed with guitar.
I think we have a
And
picture here of you and your guitar that you
Oh,
sent
look at
along.
that.
Can you tell us about what era was this? Was this
yeah,
picture here?
oh my gosh, this is had to be like 1999 or 2000. So I was maybe 14 or 15
Mm.
and on this picture. That guitar my parents got from a local shop here that no longer exists. That was a Christmas gift, and it was a Fender DG6. I still have it. I think it's in my room. It's in my front room. That's a great guitar too.
Yeah, nice.
It's got a great sound. So I grew up in church playing a lot of church music, and I mean improvisation was key. So now that I get to sort of look at my background, it totally makes sense the kind of music that I play. Uh, because I don't know if y'all played in church, but when you play in church, you're watching what's going on. And like if somebody spontaneously starts to pray, then sometimes you put some music under it.
Hmm.
You're trying to find the mood. It's usually pretty uplifting and soothing, and it just creates a beautiful atmosphere. And um, I grew up listening to a lot of like contemporary gospel music, Christian contemporary type of music. So those a lot of those songs, if you take away the actual message of the song, or if you take away the spiritual part of it, it's still the music, and it's still a really hopeful message, a really positive message that centers on love. And so that really never left me. And now just figuring out, like, sort of emerging as a person. Like I mean, I feel like I think we're always emerging, but um now that I know myself a little bit more, I'm just writing about that. That's all.
Mhm.
So I think that sort of
Excellent.
explains me. I think on my bio I say music is my ministry and intimacy is my superpower. So
Nice.
I
I like
kind of
that.
uh, I I really do believe that, you know, and that
Excellent.
kind of comes from church.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm really excited to dig into the music. So let's get to the first track on the EP so folks can get a sense of Joy's ministry of music. And this first song is the title track to the EP here. Is there anything you want to say about this song, or do you just want to
Yeah,
tell
that
us?
this is my mental health jam. I wrote this song.
Nice.
I was living alone for the first time in my life, full time musician. This was it. Oh, I guess this was at the end of 2018, going into 19. So, uh, and I was really stressed about money and about covering all of my expenses and not having another person, and taxes, and just trying to be an artist and trying to be a musician. Yeah, I felt really inadequate a lot of the time. and
I can relate.
um, and I had just started going to therapy, and I realized, whoa, most of the songs that I write, it's either about the beginning of a relationship or the end of a relationship or a relationship. And I really wanted, like, going to therapy really motivated me to think about my own internal feelings and how I relate to myself and how joy relates to joy. And when that rhythm, when that line came to me, boom, 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 I instantly knew. I said, "This is going to be a song about how I feel about myself and how music helps me." You know, and here it
Excellent.
came.
Nice. All right, well, let's give it a listen. This is Joy Clark here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
I gaze at the sky. A cardinal flies by. I hear her song, and I sing along. But then a thought creeps in my head, takes me out my element, listing problems A to Z, anxiety and fear and stress. But then a little voice inside tells me I'm gonna be alright. I got everything I need. All I gotta do is see. La la la, 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 la la la. I gaze at a tree, then I see a bee. He's buzzing around where the flowers abound. But then a thought creeps in my head, says that I'm inadequate, listing problems A to Z, all my insecurities. But then a little voice inside tells me I'm gonna be alright. I am everything I need. All I gotta do is sing. La la la, 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 la la Now if I could stay, I would stay here with my blanket and my ginger beer, rocking solo to the songs I hear, the songs I hear out here. Now if I could stay, I would stay here with my blanket and my ginger beer, rocking solo to the songs I hear, the songs I hear out here. Now if I could stay, I would stay here with my blanket and my ginger beer, rocking solo to the songs I hear, the songs I hear out here. If I could stay, I would stay here with my blanket and my ginger beer, rocking solo to the songs I hear, the songs I hear out here. Now if I could stay, I would stay here with
right. Joy Clark with the song Here, the title track to her 2020 EP, which we are revisiting today with Joy, joining us from New Orleans. And it looks like a couple of your sisters might be on watching today too. So that's great.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
Tim joining us from Pittsburgh saying it's a great way to warm up a cold gray Friday
Hmm.
night.
Yeah.
And it's sunny here in
Tim.
Minneapolis, but it's cool out. And I will say, Joe was mentioning that it was 4 degrees this morning. He must have been up early because it wasn't 4 degrees when I first set outside. But he said this is the song that got him going. So it makes
Yeah.
sense that your mental health jam is also getting us physically active and engaged in the
Yeah.
world. Because
Yes.
I feel better
sometimes that's what
already.
I know, right? I
Yeah.
feel like every week when Tony and I come on to host this show, the Back Catalog Listening Party, I feel like one of the first things we say is like, "How's your week?" It's like, "Oh, it's been a week," and and every week we're so glad we get to hear and listen to music and talk with our friends about music, and
Yeah.
so this is our mental health jam, but this more specifically couldn't be a better way to kick off the show. So thank you for
Well,
that.
see, I
Amen.
was right. I knew these songs were gonna help people somewhere. I'm glad I
You
got
were
over
correct.
myself and just shared it.
Yeah, and Stephanie, was mentioning how wonderful it was gifting yourself with a song from you to you, and she said that she loves the harmonies. And I had to ask, is that you doubling up on those harmonies? So it really is
That's
you
me.
singing to yourself.
I'm singing to myself. Joy singing to joy. Yeah, I had a good time singing. I love singing harmony. I've always sung harmony. Um, I remember riding in the car with my dad, and we're driving to church, and we would all sing in the car, and I don't know, harmony was one of those things that just would jump out to me. I don't remember how I learned. It was just I had an ear for it. So whenever I hear harmony, I have to jump in. I love singing it. So and I got to sing it with myself on that.
So, given the time frame that this was recorded, how did you get these songs down? Was this just you at home, or did you find your way to a studio? Can you tell me a little bit about how you got this
Yeah,
stuff
well,
down?
it was recorded at Bad Storm Studio here in New Orleans, Louisiana, and it was by Geo Blackman. A friend of mine was so kind to have me come in and record those songs, those four tunes. This was at the beginning of 2019, so
Okay. Okay.
it wasn't COVID, and I jumped in, and I at that time I hadn't done a whole lot of recording, so it was just I know I want to record this song because when I finished that one, when I finished here, it was one of the rare songs where I finished it in like a couple days because I knew I loved it. I knew
Nice.
exactly what I wanted to say. I wasn't trying to figure out what the song was about. Um, and I had the arrangement. So, I talked to Gio, and he had me come in, and I laid the acoustic track down. That's Jasmine Butler on drums and Tiffany Morris on bass on that track.
Nice.
And we laid down the track first, and then I came in and sang the lead part, and then put some harmonies on it. And yeah,
That's you on those
that's
guitars too, right?
yeah. There's only one guitar on that one. It's just me playing acoustic.
Sounds
Normally
good.
on live shows, I don't have the capo on, but on that on the recording, I had the capo up high. So I don't know if any musicians are listening and like,
Oh
Oh, there
yeah.
are. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Feel free to nerd out.
Yeah.
yeah.
You're amongst friends.
So I'm playing. I have the capo up. I don't remember the fret, but it's. I'm playing a G, but it's like the C form.
Nice.
Because it could give me some higher notes and some nice little fills in there.
Yeah, well, speaking of harmony, I mean we as musicians, we're thinking about the instruments and how they harmonize too, and I think that's really interesting. I know that's a technique they high string guitars in Nashville oftentimes to create like a different feeling and a different kind of
Yeah,
sparkle in the strumming. So
I just learned
that's for
about
sure.
that. What is it? Nashville tuning?
Good question.
Yeah,
If anybody out there knows, I've heard the phrase, and I knew that it had to do with the kind of creating this other sonic space, like this higher kind of
Hmm.
frequencies and stuff like that. And I think it is. I think it's tuned really high, but I don't
Really,
know
really bright.
exactly what
Yeah,
they're doing
yeah.
there. But
Hmm.
super fascinating. So yeah, we want to know
Yeah.
anything like that that helps us interpret this wonderful music that you're playing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I did.
Well,
Um,
if you have any comments or questions for Joy, feel free to throw them in the chat as we go today. And oh,
yes.
and it looks like we just got one from Joni. Are your siblings musicians too, or did you all sing together in church like you mentioned you did early on?
Mhm.
And are any of them, yeah, performing music professionally? Or
Joni. Hi, Joni from, well, I don't know why I thought it said Mississippi. I see. Uh, MS, I got you. Um, we, so my dad, before he became a pastor, my dad was in a band like on Bourbon Street, and then he got saved, and then he stopped doing all that stuff. But my siblings, we could all sing, so we would sing in church. My brother Farron, who we both played in church together, he played
Mhm.
drums, and
Who just
and
dropped in to?
that's Farron, yeah. Hey, Farron.
Hey, Farron.
So he was on drums, and I was playing guitar, and my two sisters would also sing. And my oldest brother, he would he could sing, but he would never really sing. Like, he would play around and sing. But there was one song that we would do at church. It was We would sing it to a track, and he would rap on the song.
Oh, nice.
So it was a little bit of rap in church, but we can all sing, and we all have an ear. And my grandpa is a singer as well. So yeah, we would make up songs, make up really silly songs, and make each other laugh. They could put some songs in the comments where we used to sing together. We love Disney movies, so we would watch Beauty and the Beast, and everybody had a part.
Oh,
I th-
nice.
I'm pretty sure I was I was Mrs. Potts. So I would always sing Mrs. Potts parts. But yeah, so
Nice.
we would sing together. Yeah. Great
Nice.
question.
Nice. Well, we're glad that you are now singing for all of us to enjoy, and we're excited about revisiting this record that came out in 2020 called "Here." And the next track that you picked to feature on today's show, or the next track on that record, I should say, is "Love Yourself." And is there anything you want to say about this song before we take a listen?
Yeah. There's a really cool video that goes with this song. You can find it on YouTube. So after this, you can
Mhm.
you can check it out. Um, all of the girls in the video, they're my cousins. So that's why we look alike. I just wrote this song as a letter to my 12-year-old self. Um, because I think most 12-year-olds at some point feel awkward, and really out of place. And for me, when I started playing guitar and doing the thing that I really wanted to do and loved, uh, I got weird responses from people that would make me feel like an outsider, or that
Hmm.
I was doing something that wasn't normal for a black person like me to, put their guitar on their back and just kind of be free and just be myself. And I felt really out of place at that time in life. And I would go in the store, and I was obsessed with guitars. If it was a picture of a guitar, I wanted to see what kind it was. Guitar magazines, just they I love seeing the guitars, but I would never see anyone that looked like me. And the only time I would see that, it was Robert Cray or Keb Mo, or um, yeah, just like a handful of people. But I never, and I would gravitate towards that, but I still felt like I feel like I'm I feel like I just don't see myself anywhere. And that that made, I guess, when I grew up, I realized how much that did affect me. And so one day I was playing with my loop pedal, and I heard this bass line, like boom boom, and I started thinking, what do I want to write about? What do I want to say? And I thought, okay, I want to write about when I started playing guitar and the feelings I had around myself at that time as a 12-year-old kid, and how I kind of interpret how that version of me got through that. So it's me talking to my 12-year-old self.
All right, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Let's give it a listen. This is Joy Clark, "Love Yourself," here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
12 years old, square peg, round hole, blue guitar, and walks to the park. I had my baggy jeans, a fresh white tee, my hair flowing free, the wind behind me. It was the autumn sky, the moss hang high, and I'm right where I wanna be. 'Cause I never saw myself in magazines, and I never saw myself on TV screens, and I wonder, who am I supposed to be? I had to love myself. I had to love myself. You gotta learn to love yourself. You gotta love yourself. I've been told, don't be too bold, and girls don't do this, girls don't do that, and so on. But I listened to my heart, I never played that part. I'll choose who I'm gonna be. And if I knew back then what I know now, I wouldn't worry. If I stood out, I'd take those doubts and turn them into jewels. And I would love myself. Yeah, I would love myself. You gotta learn to love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta learn to love yourself. Don't wait on nobody else. If I could go back in time, I'd look her in the eye and tell her you are so perfect. If I could go back in time, I'd look her in the eye and tell her you are so perfect. If I could go back in time, I'd look her in the eye and tell her you are so perfect. If I could go back in time, I'd look her in the eye and tell her you are so perfect. You are so perfect. You are so perfect. You are so perfect. You are so perfect.
I needed that
Yeah.
today. Thank you, Joy.
Heck
Joy
yeah.
Clark with Love Yourself, a message we can all embrace. And from her 2020 EP Here, which we are revisiting today on the show with Joy joining us live from New Orleans, and all of you joining us from all your respective homes or places where you're at. We don't know if it's your home. You don't need to be at home to enjoy the back catalog listening party,
No.
but we're happy that you're here with us today. And Joy, you were talking about how that song was written to your 12-year-old self. Where felt like you didn't fit in. You didn't see people like you represented on the guitar magazines.
Yeah.
If you saw musicians out there, young Black women, it was not as guitarists, right? And
Yeah.
so I just want to share this thing that I found. Look at that on the cover of Guitar Girl magazine. And this was, yeah.
That's awesome.
So I think some things are changing, which is good,
Yeah.
and it's so great to see. And your 12-year-old self, can you imagine what they would be thinking right now? They probably
Oh
couldn't
my,
even imagine that, you know?
oh my gosh. I think about it every day. Like if I could be like, it's gonna get better. I think she was great. I think 12-year-old Joy was a she was a survivor.
Mhm.
She
Yeah,
was she knew what she wanted. So I'm not saying it as, oh, she needs so much help,
yeah.
because you know nobody told me what to do. People did tell me what to do, but I told them what they could do.
Touche. Well,
Not in the I wasn't very vocal, but I just did it anyway. I did
yeah,
things anyway.
yeah. Well,
Um,
I
yeah.
was
and
just going to say that's probably so important now. Other people are able to see you on the cover of Guitar Girl
mhm.
magazine, And I want to point out for people who are just listening, some people just listen to this. We just shared Joy on the cover of a guitar magazine. It's so awesome, and we're gonna include that in our show notes. So if you're not watching today, you can go to Back Catalog Listening Party /149, and you can see this amazing guitar magazine cover.
Thank you for bringing that up. I didn't even think. I don't always even think to show people. But
Well, I just
it's there.
remembered in my mind, I was like, I feel like Joy was on the cover of something recently, and I had to dig back to find it. But yeah, really, really cool. And let's see, Chris, a lot of people giving you the claps and the party emoji on the in the comments. And
Uh-huh.
Chris also had a question, wondering if you had crossed paths with another great guitarist and singer, Ruthie Foster.
Yes. I love me some Ruthie Foster.
So
Yes.
good,
I
so
got
good.
you. Yes. We both man, we have a little bit of story. When I was playing in my first band, it was called Soulchestra. It was started by my friend Monica Dillon, and it was an all-female funk band where we played multi-genre music and a few covers. Um, we had a regular gig at House of Blues, and Ruthie was playing in, I think, the main room, or one of the rooms. And after our set, we were loading out, and I see her like just chilling on the sidewalk, and I asked to take a picture with her, and she was really nice. That picture is somewhere on Facebook. And then I went to see her. She had another set, I think, the next night. So I just would keep in touch. And then actually last year, we were both on the Crescent City Barbecue and Blues Festival, and I played one set before her. So I played a set, and I had my band there. And when she got up on when she started her set, she gave me a shout out and said that she listened to my whole set from her hotel room.
Awesome.
That's
So
awesome.
I love Ruthie. I
Oh.
love Ruthie.
That's great. What a
Well,
great story too, to hear some of your
Yes.
heroes, then hearing your music is really
Yes.
great.
that
Yes.
segues into a question actually I had. I was listening to that song, and I know you mentioned church being a big influence for you musically, but I was hearing a lot of other things happening in there, different
Mhm.
different voices, different types of music, and I would just love to know a little bit about, all the different stuff that you would kind of think of as like your music, the stuff that inspires you to write.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the music that I listen to?
Yeah,
Like,
growing up and
oh man, I guess I of course I listen to a lot of Christian contemporary music and a lot of contemporary gospel. Um, I always like really pretty chords. I always I never really listened to exclusive uh, guitarists. I always love the actual story of the song. I love lyrics. So it's so many people. I listen to a lot of um, Helen Baylor. She's a gospel artist. I listen to a lot of her. A lot of her music is pretty sophisticated. I listen to a lot of Margaret Becker, um, and then Shaka Khan and Carpenters and the Meters, um, Tracy Chapman, of course, Sade.
Mhm.
Um, like a swath of people, but uh, the music and the lyrics would always work together for me. I was always listening to the like how the music made me feel and chords. And when I started playing guitar, I was always drawn to those like major sevens and
mhm.
like once I realized what a major seven was, I was like, I like that chord.
Yes, that there were
And
some pretty chords on that last.
Yeah,
there
I was
was that.
noticing there's one
Yeah.
point where I think we were all like, "Oh yeah," it was like a
Oh.
progression of a
Diminished chord. It's a
yeah.
diminished
Yeah,
chord. So when
very
you
good.
when you when you go up a minor third and you keep going up, it makes that cool to so it can resolve to the next thing. I like that kind of
Wonderful.
stuff. I
Yeah.
I I like to flex the musicianship a bit, just because that's how my brain works. I'm not only thinking about lyrics. I'm thinking about if there's a minor four in it, or if there's whatever.
And do you hear that right when you're writing the song, or do you just hear the melody? Like, are you really doing it at the same time with the guitar? Like, is that how you kind of construct songs?
The music always comes first
Mm.
for
Mm.
me. So if I pick up the guitar and I start playing something, then I'll hear the melody in what I'm playing, and then it sounds like a feeling.
Mm.
Then words come out, and then I construct the actual progression.
Mhm.
But the melody always comes first, and it comes from just messing around on guitar.
Mhm.
You had mentioned that this one was you had like a looping pedal or something going on there, and
Mm-hmm.
I could hear some movement like that, some looping movements in that. When you actually
Boom.
recorded it, where did you do that, or did you just kind of have keep
No,
playing some of those
no. I,
phrases
I
over?
just I communicated with Tiff. I said the when I had my looping pedal on, I just had the boom, 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 and then I added da 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 da, boom, boom, da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
And so she kept that. She kept that motif in it, and
Nice. Just
yeah.
kept. Yeah, that was great.
Wonderful.
Thank you, thank you.
And Joni had a question. She was pointing out how wonderful it was that you now are a hero to so many younger people and young girls in particular who are struggling to fit in. And she asked, "What does it feel like to be a hero to that next generation?" Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I get that. I remember at a show. Actually, I was in Cancun at Girls Just Wanna.
Right, which
with,
is Brandy Carlisle's like huge festival, which I always see pictures of, and I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to be there. And then I see you on stage, like
yeah,
in front of thousands of
I was
people.
chilling with Allison and Brandy and
Ah,
Yola and Joy Aladakun and but there was a man who came there, and he had his daughter with him, and he said, you are her hero, and it's the best thing. It's the absolute best thing. That is the type of those words are the words that really bring you through, like knowing that someone's watching you and you're motivating someone else. um, it makes me feel amazing. And a lot of times I have to remember that, and just just enjoy it. It's not intimidating. I don't feel pressure. It feels awesome to know that because I kept doing what I really love to do in spite of guarantees. There are no guarantees in this whole thing. I have no idea how anything works. It's just showing up and going with what you think might work, and some things don't always work. But that it just makes me smile big, and I will sign any autograph or take any picture when it's that. Um, it makes me happy. It makes me feel really proud.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
so beautiful. And yeah, this is a great time to let you know that if you want to get Joy's music or find out where you can see her in person to get those photographs and autographs, you can
Yeah.
go to joyclarkmusic.com. And it looks like Edward said, was great to see you with Allison Russell in December. Have more pictures for you. So
Oh,
uh,
Nice.
awesome.
another fan who got some good photos. So, but again, I'd encourage folks to get the high res files of these songs because they sound really fantastic. And
So,
if you you know, like here in Minnesota in February, nights are long, it's cold, we need a boost, and I have to say this Joy Clark EP is doing it for me on this
no.
day. So we want to encourage you to get her music and check it out.
And it,
um
I was just
oh
going to point out that it looked like her music was, when you go to her website, you'll be directed to bandcamp.com for some of those purchases. And Bandcamp has this great function where you can actually pay more than the artist is asking for the CD. And so if this music is worth more to you than whatever she's asking, I highly recommend you head over to Bandcamp. Get the high resolution files like Ellen said. It sounds great. You're going to want to hear it and have and own it. But then you'd also be sending a pretty awesome message to Joy to let her know how much you appreciate what she's doing. So definitely head on over to her website or head over to Bandcamp, pick it up, maybe throw a little something extra in her tip jar.
That's right. And I also want to mention that a little birdie told me that you have a new live record that's going to be coming out in March, and
I
that will
sure
only be
do.
available at live shows and through your website. So
Yeah.
this is a great time for folks to, you know, get engaged and follow you on social media, and so they can
Yes.
Do
find
you have
out
an
when that's
email list
happening.
or something at your website, Joy? An email
There's
list
an
people
email
could talk?
list. I haven't gotten all the stuff up for the CD yet, but I am. If you want to pre-order, I am considering just starting like a Google Doc and seeing who wants to just pre-order. Do it old school way. Not that Google Doc is old school by any means, but
Pre-ordering is, yes.
Right.
for pre-order, then I'll know. But I will have the CDs by March 4th. The whole set was recorded in Seattle at Seattle Birdsong House Concert Series, and I was satisfied with the way that it sounded. And I was like, well, look, let's get this out. It's really simple. Let's get a nice little package going and get it out to the people because I'm about to be on tour.
Nice. Nice. Well,
So
if you
have
want to
fun
get
with
on
me.
her spreadsheet, I bet they could send something to your Venmo or your Cash App, which we have scrolling across the bottom.
Yes, you can.
And she'll probably put your name on that spreadsheet if, just send her what, $100
Yeah,
for each CD.
they
Does that
started
sound
at
about right?
100.
All right. You know what to do, folks. It's just Joy Clark Music at Venmo and Joy Clark Music at the Cash App. And that's scrolling across the screen. We'll
Yeah,
put it in the
thank you.
comments too.
Yes, yes. But right now we want to dig into more music because I need another shot of joy right now on the back catalog listening party. And the next track on this EP that we are revisiting today is I Will Be Here. Is there anything you want to say about this?
I wrote this song right after a breakup, which is weird. So that's what I have to say about it.
All
Excellent.
right. All right. Let's give it a listen. Let me get the album art here first. We're going to ask you about this later, actually, the album art, because I did find two different covers, but we'll
Yeah.
discuss that later. For now, let's give this song a listen. I Will Be Here from Joy Clark here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Next to me, I feel like I'm dreaming when you lie close to me. I feel reborn So just say the words, and I will be here. Oh, oh, I will be here. 'Cause I will not brag, and I will not boast. All I wanna do is hold you close. So just say the words, and I will be here. Oh, I will be here. Oh, I will be here. Oh, I will be here.
What a lovely song. Joy Clark, I Will Be Here from her 2020 EP Here, which we are enjoying together on the back catalog listening party. And yes, Stephanie, I agree. Really beautiful.
Thank you, Stephanie.
And Farron also says, Joy makes it look easy. It's true. And I will say, having just gotten to see you perform up close and personal at Folk Alliance International a couple weeks ago in Kansas City, you do have this kind of effortless way of performing, which I think is really wonderful. Just is so natural, and it never, watching any professional play. Obviously, they've mastered their craft and are putting great music out there. But for you, there's like this, yeah, this effortless quality. I don't know if that's how you feel when you perform, but you exude that, which I think is really
Thank you.
special.
I don't always feel like that. So whenever people say that, then I have to think, okay, you're doing all right. It's just as I just did something on TV where it's like I didn't feel good about it, but it was good. you know,
Yeah.
so you can't always trust how you feel about something.
Well, that's true, and I think that's why we have those, some of like the first 2 tracks on the record that you were, are those reminders to yourself, right?
Yeah,
That you're doing okay, and
yeah,
I
you're
I
you're,
I
you're all
think we
right.
all need that reminder.
Yeah.
Um, and we got some lovely comments. Stacy, your voice just brings peace to my soul, and then
Thank you, Stacey.
Cheryl wanted to know what your favorite song was on the EP or
Ooh,
songs.
you know what? I think my favorite song has probably become. I think the favorite track has become "Changes,"
Mm.
which is. Now I think I'm jumping ahead, but
What's the
"Changes"
next
is my.
song? Yeah,
Yeah,
Some really great
this is the
segue
next,
work
and
right there, Joy.
yeah,
that's right. Well, we're
yeah,
going to get to that in just a moment, but
yeah.
before we do, let's talk about this album art that we
Mhm.
were mentioning earlier. That so the photo that we've been enjoying from that is kind of the official cover that you can find on all the digital places. But if you go to Bandcamp, you'll see a different cover,
Mhm.
and are we right in thinking that there's actually some bonus tracks if you get it on Bandcamp as well?
There are. If you get it on band, so this album art came out. Um, it was a graphic artist in New Orleans named Laura Sanders who did this for me in 2019, and I put it on my T-shirts. It's really my logo,
Mm.
and I decided to release a different version with actually a different title on Bandcamp with just Joy Clark because it says Joy Clark on there. So I was like, well, if I put it on Bandcamp, I'll just say it's Joy Clark EP. And I just did something different on Spotify. Really, this one came out before I put it out on Spotify. I
Hmm.
put this out in March 2020 on Bandcamp because I just didn't want to put it on Spotify yet.
Mhm.
Um, and so I put there are a couple bonus tracks on with that artwork on Bandcamp. that are not on Spotify.
So for
So
you Joy Clark nerds out there,
Even
and
more reason.
yes, you want to go to Bandcamp, you can get the extra tracks, and you can also again throw a little extra in Joy's tip jar by going to Bandcamp at that link.
yeah, when you're an independent artist and you don't have a team that's saying, strategizing, it's like, well, I want to I'll put this on Bandcamp. I won't put it on Spotify, which, I kind of like my decisions because there are a couple songs that I did want to hold on to, like for the general public, and just I wanted to give it to my fans that were already following me instead of throwing it into the void of Spotify, you know. So yeah, that was a choice, and I think it was. I don't know if it was good, but it was a choice.
But either way, folks can get them now, which is the
Yeah.
important thing. Is
Yeah, you
folks
can get it.
can
You can get
It's
it.
like exclusive. Like, if you know,
That's
you
right.
know.
Exactly. And now you know because you're tuned into the back catalog listening party where we
Yeah.
like to share all the nerdy inside, sort of peek behind the curtain of the music industry and what artists do to get their music out into the world because
Yeah.
it's a I don't know if brave new world is really the right phrase. A crazy new world out there
Yeah.
for independent musicians. So we appreciate you supporting folks like Joy. And Karen just gave you a shout out from Virginia and said this is great.
Yeah.
And if you're new to the show, we do this every week, every Friday at 4 p.m. Central. We invite different guest artists to be on the show and talk about one of their older records. And we have one more track to check out from this
Favorite
EP.
track.
And
I can't
it's
wait to
Joy's
find
favorite.
out why. I can't wait to
So-
find out why.
My favorite.
Is there anything you want to say about it before we
Yeah.
listen?
Like the previous track, I Will Be Here. I'm playing all guitars. There, on I Will Be Here. There were two guitars. That's me playing. I'm playing both guitars on this one. There's a guitar solo. This is a co-write with my friend Kelly Love Jones, who's an amazing singer-songwriter from New Orleans. We did a co-write. I got stuck and I couldn't finish the song, and I said, I'm gonna call Kelly, and we wrote Changes.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. This is Joy Clark's favorite song on the EP, folks. Turn it up, and we're going to send you home here with this one, the last track for our listening party. This is Changes, Joy Clark, back catalog listening party.
And life will go through changes. Somebody's gonna let you down. And even though we're perfect, they may not always stick around. And it might take some time to figure it out. There's one thing you need to know. It doesn't matter what might happen. It's what you do when it does. And when the starling flies half around the world, even nature goes through changes. And even when a child leaves its mother's womb, human nature goes through changes. Trees, oh the trees, they lose their leaves. That's what growing tends to do. Whispers from the winter's breeze speaks of me and you. One day we will come to see that letting go of old, it doesn't mean we're the starling flies half around the world, even nature goes through changes. And even when a child leaves its mother's womb, human nature goes through changes. The starling flies half around the world, even nature goes through changes. And even when a child leaves its mother's womb, human nature goes through changes. And when the cloudy skies cover up the sun, even nature goes through changes. And when your lover's gone and leaves you all alone, human nature goes through changes. Changes. Changes.
Some beautiful warm chords on that one. Changes, the final track and Joy's current favorite track on her 2020 EP here, which we've been revisiting today on the back catalog listening party. Karen,
So good.
loving this song, and Stacy saying she's hoping that your upcoming tour has Florida dates. And if you want to check out all of Joy Clark's music, recorded music, and check out some of the live shows, you can go to joyclarkmusic.com, and you can sign up for that email list and get notified as to when that new live album is headed your way. And I agree, Chris. I think we need some Joy Clark up here in February. It's probably not what she wants to do, but we could
maybe
sure
other
use the
months
sunshine.
that Joy might want to come.
I bet she would like it in the summertime if she wants to cool off a little from the
Well, and
New Orleans
Joy
heat.
mentioned that this new live record is going to be exclusive to her live
It's
show.
going to be exclusive to the live shows, and I will be up there. I can't announce one festival that I'm doing, but I will be up there.
Excellent.
So wink, wink. I'll be up there in
we will
August.
be looking forward to that. But if you want to find all those details out, go to joyclarkmusic.com, sign up to her email list, join her on the social media channels, and I bet you'll be the first to find out when she'll be, where she'll be, and when you can get that new record.
I want to meet you, and I want to sign all the CDs. I want to take all the pictures. You're not bothering me. I will do it.
Awesome. We love that. And Connie also enjoying the show. And if you enjoyed the show today, make sure to like it, give it a thumbs up on YouTube so we can direct more bots to Joy Clark. And also you can subscribe to our YouTube channel because we do this every week. Sadly, not every week with Joy Clark, but we have lots of other great artists. And so you can check that out. We do this every Friday at 4 p.m. Central. And I also want to thank all of you for joining us today, and most especially Joy for taking the time to chat with us today. This has been
anytime, Ellen. You've given me so much love on that radio station. I appreciate you. Anthony, it was so great meeting you.
It was great to meet you, Joy. I had so many more questions.
I know. We're just going to have you back on another one.
Yeah, that really was a wonderful hour. It really kind of brought me into a new place. I have a wake of someone that was close to me I have to go to today, and it's been weighing on my mind, but I feel like I have a different perspective now, and that's the power of music, and I really appreciate you sharing that with us today.
And it looks like Stephanie and Karen want to know where that tip jar is, and it's scrolling on the bottom at the screen, and we'll make sure to throw it in the comments as well, so you can throw some money
Thank you,
Joy's
Stephanie
way.
and Karen, and everybody that asked questions, and my brother and sister, and everybody.
Love that.
Appreciate it.
That's what this is
Everyone
all about,
responds to
really.
comments.
It's
Yeah,
like,
it's a reunion. It's basically a music nerd reunion that happens here every Friday, and we have a special crew of people who are the true music nerds who support us through our Patreon community, and these folks have kept us going for almost 3 years now. So we want to
unbelievable.
thank Penny, Anna, Linda, Bevan, Connie, Vaughn, Alan, Chris, Alex, Becky, Galen, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, and John, Fred, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Court, Matt, Steve, Mark, Homestead, Pick and Parlor, Severin, Lynn, Jake, Mary, Many Tracks, Nikki, Joni, David, and maybe you if you want to support the show.
Awesome.
And we have some really cool stuff cooking for our Patreon supporters, and you get first look at our guests. So those folks know what's coming up on the next month and a half. So if you want to know, be in the inside track, you can support us that way. But mainly, we just want you here to enjoy the
Yeah.
show. So if you can stop by you can also check out archived shows at backcataloglisteningparty.com, and including with those show notes. So if you ever want to see the links to the videos, some of the graphics, alternate artwork, all that kind of stuff will be up there with this episode with Joy Clark. So thank you, Joy, for joining us today. This has been such a treat.
Thank you for having me. I had such a great time. I wish it was 2 hours.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That was not long enough, but again, we're all
Is
the
it
better
okay if
for
I take a selfie?
Oh,
absolutely.
yes. Yeah.
All right, everybody in the audience.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I hope everyone has a wonderful, joy-filled week, and we'll see you back next week for another edition of Back Catalog Listening
All
Party.
right, see you next week, folks. Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.